Hello, welcome to your first lecture/demonstration. Throughout this course, we are going to be using two different graphic design softwares. Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator are the graphic design industry standard. They've been around for over 30 years and serve as the basis of this course. We're going to explore Adobe Photoshop for the first half of the course and then transition to Illustrator for the second half of the course. Assignments will start out simple and slowly build upon each other. It's important that you dedicate 6 to 9 hours per week on these assignments, as learning new software can be like learning a new language. So starting with the simple, let's dive into Adobe Photoshop. Alright, so what I have here is an open Photoshop document. I just click the PS down there at the bottom, and this is the menu that comes up. We want to go ahead and create a new file, so click New. And we get this dialog box here. Notice you've got different options: art and illustration, film, video, custom sizes. Up here, we're going to go ahead and name our document. I'm going to title it Shapes Practice. And then we've got our document size. I always like to use inches, so we change pixels to inches, and then we'll just do like a standard 8 width by 10 height. And we can click Portrait Orientation. So it looks like a piece of white paper. Resolution, I always like to keep it 300 pixels per inch. Just seems to work out really well. That's kind of the clarity of your images. Color mode, I always pick RGB. And background contents, you can choose whatever you'd like here. I like to choose white. And we're going to click Create. And here you see our work surface here, our giant 8 by 10 white piece of paper. This is where our design is going to go. At the top, I want you to go to Window, Workspace, and make sure that Essentials is checked. This is going to ensure that your workspace looks similar to mine. Alright, so a little bit about the workspace here. We've got our title of our document up here. Notice if I click this, I can drag this and kind of move it wherever I want to on the screen, which is kind of a handy feature. I can just dock it by lining it back up and making sure the blue line is there, and it will dock back. This is our toolbar with a whole bunch of different tools on it. These can also be moved if you click, and you can kind of drag them, which is a nice convenient feature. Over here on the right are some more toolbars. Those are collapsible. We got properties, and then we've got our layers panel over here. This is probably one of the most important aspects of Photoshop. You notice I've got a background layer here. It's locked and it's white. I can go up here to the top to layer, and this is different layer options for the layers panel. And I also have layer options down here at the bottom on the layers panel. So notice this one here says create a new layer, create a new layer group, clipping mask, and so forth. Over here's our color changer. I want to click on that little black and white square to make sure it's black and white. And you can, we're going to go ahead and start with the shape tool here. If you look on the tool, you'll see a little tiny triangle. If you click and hold that, it'll give you different options, different tools within the tool. So I'm going to click and hold here, and notice we've got different shapes. I'm grabbing the ellipse tool, and we're going to go ahead and draw a circle. Now notice that this isn't really a perfect circle. I'm drawing kind of egg shapes or ellipses. And it's on top of the background. So I've created a new layer. When I put the shape on there, it's going above the background layer. I don't really like that shape, so I'm just going to hit delete. And I'm going to come back over here, and this time I want to draw a perfect circle. So what I'm going to do is hold Shift, click, and drag. If you're holding Shift down, it will maintain the proportions of the shape. So therefore I have a perfect circle. Pretty handy. So we've got a black circle. There's a few different ways that we can change the color. One is to go to Properties and click on that little black box, and we can pick from different swatches. So if we want to make it blue, we can click there. Another way to change the color is if we double click right here on this little thumbnail image, and it brings up our swatch colors. Nice nifty tool is that you can move this around, do shades, tints. There we go, we got a blue circle. I want to go ahead and label my layer. So I'm just clicking on layer 1 and I'm going to type in blue circle. When we do projects that have a lot of layers in them, it's important that you have them labeled so you don't get confused. This is our move tool. If you click on this, this is going to allow you to move whatever's on the layer. Up here it says show transform controls. You want to make sure that that is clicked. Okay, so if we use our move tool, we can move this circle wherever we would like to on the surface. Again, transform controls, we want that to be checked. You can also go to edit, transform, and this are some different options of what you can do to the actual shape. If transform controls is checked, you don't have to necessarily do that. So I could grab this shape from the corner and drag it. I'm holding shift down just to maintain proportions because I want this to be a circle. Again, I'm holding shift and dragging to enlarge it. If I don't like the changes, I hit the no sign up here and it goes back to what I previously had. Since I did not hold shift here, this looks like an oval, so I'm going to click no. I don't like that change. Nice blue circle here. Next, what we want to do is I want to add a red square. Okay, notice that I've got a new layer over here above the blue circle. And I want to label this red square. I want to change the color of it, so I'm going to double click on the thumbnail and change it to a red color. Using the move tool, I just wanted to show you how this is overlapped here. So if we look at our layers panel, the red square is on top of the blue circle. If I click on my layer, I can drag the blue circle layer up above the red square, and now my blue circle is above the red square. That's magic. So layer order is important. I'm going to go ahead and drag my red square above my blue square, and I want to show you some transform controls here. So I want to make sure that the red square layer is selected. Go to my move tool, and again I can move this where I want. If I hover over the corner and click, I can rotate the object. And if I like it, I can check it and it will stay there. Next, I want to add a third shape. This time we're going to use the polygon tool. And let's do a little pentagon here. I want to position it so that it's overlapping the red square a little bit. And I want to change the color of it to a blue. And if I want the same color blue, all I have to do is kind of come out here and drag my mouse out and click on the blue, and it will give me the same exact blue color of the blue circle. So that's another nifty feature. I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this a little bit. Make sure it's overlapping the red square. And if I go to the layers panel here, I've got the polygon selected. Notice there's something called opacity. Opacity is being able to see through something. If I lower it, you're going to be able to see through it. So it's lowering how bold it is. If something's opaque, you cannot see through it. So this is a nice little feature of your layers that can help trick the eye. It will come in handy later on in this course. Again, layer order is important. We want the polygon to be on top of the red square. So that's pretty simple. Now we want to save our document, so we're going to go up to File and Save As. I always like to save 3 versions. So the first one, here's our shapes practice, where I want to save it, and I want to save it as a Photoshop format. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Click OK. I'm going to go up again and go File, Save As. and where I want to save it. And this time I want to change the format to a Photoshop PDF. It's going to shrink the size of the document, but it is going to preserve your layers and make it editable if you open it again in Photoshop. Go ahead and click OK on all these dialog boxes. Save. And then the last file type we want to save as is a JPEG. And the previous one is not finished saving yet, so let's try it now. File, save as, and I'm going to change the format to JPEG. There it is. And we'll click save. And it's going to ask you the quality. I like maximum. And now we should have 3 different files for the same design. And if I can show you here in my Finder, here you see Shapes Practice JPEG, PDF, and PSD. And that's good stuff. You're going to want to upload a JPEG or PDF to Canvas.